That's the highlight of that game. Most encouraging part of a Lions win, 248-539-9797. We'll play Dan Campbell's locker room speech at 7 o'clock. John, I keep going to the defense. I know they gave up 30 points, and the Cowboy receivers, won their matchups a good chunk of this game. The defense got 5 sacks, forced 3 turnovers. I thought this was a great Jack Campbell game. We haven't really brought him up yet. He had the blitz on what should have been a safety for a sack. He's the guy that forced the first turnover of the day with a punch out.
Yep.
And he is at the center of this defense. I thought he had a hell of a game.
I thought he played extremely well. I thought he's had a really good season. And I know a lot of it, every guy on the team was taking strays one way or another over the last couple of weeks. But I thought he has been very solid all season long. He's done a great job wearing the green dot. And, yeah, I would agree. I think the defense played, obviously, well enough to win. There's still areas, and you're hoping that Kirby Joseph can be back. I'm hoping that Brian Branch isn't anything long-term. Was there anything that Dan said last night? I know you're kind of looking at me like maybe I missed something.
I had seen, and I will clarify it, I thought I had seen boot and crutches.
Yeah.
Now, to the extent, I don't know how serious.
So, I mean, that's the problem for LA next week. We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, I was encouraged by the pass rush, and I was encouraged by the team defense. And it was one where they gave up some big plays, and we'll try and find a way to minimize those. But it wasn't where you saw Meek Robertson should have had a tackle for almost no gain. Instead, I think it was George Pickens ends up with the first down, or maybe it was CeeDee Lamb at that point in the game. But the team is rallying to the area so that it doesn't go for an even bigger play, doesn't go for a touchdown. I thought they did a good job of rallying to the ball.
Brian Branch was in a boot and crutches after the game. Dan Campbell said he'll know more tomorrow on the injury. Obviously didn't look great.
Yeah. But it's a bummer.
Yeah, look. They couldn't make the playoffs last night, but they
could have been eliminated.
I mean, not mathematically, but you didn't need an abacus to know if they lost, the season was over.
We were listening to Dak Prescott talk about yesterday, and I heard one of the comments he made this morning, like, okay, our we do not control our destiny anymore. There's a lot of things that have to happen. There's some good teams, but the NFC is going to be tough, and we've put ourselves in this position. That could have been the conversations we were having today. We're not.
Do you realize if the Bears lose this weekend, they're only a game up on Detroit, and they play in Week 18. I keep saying, get to Week 18 with something on the line. John, if the Bears lose, if I understand this right, the Lions would control their own destiny. If the Bears lose a game, you're within a game, and you play them one time.
Yes.
So very quickly, you go from being multiple games out of the playoffs to, oh, we control our own destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, this was step one. And I don't want to dull any of what happened last night. That was emphatic. That was necessary. They have to do something we haven't seen them do since early October. Win back-to-back. String together quality performances. Because we've seen a one-off, right? Monday night against the Bucks.
Yeah.
The game in Baltimore. Sunday night.
Washington.
Not maybe on the
team.
Same scale. There have been a couple moments this year, but they haven't strung those performances together, and they've been incredibly inconsistent. They have to be consistent down the stretch if they're going to make the playoffs. So step one is beat Dallas. Mm-hmm. Step one, mission accomplished. 248-539-9797.
I thought that was 2 games in a row of Jared Goff playing really quality quarterback play.
I would say so, too.
Not perfect.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, early in the game, he had some awkward throws because he got pressured. That's who Jared Goff is. At the end of the day, though, he distributes the football. Yep. And he did even on Thanksgiving Day. Didn't he complete like 14 of 14 or 15 of 15 after a slow start?
We talked about the first 3 passes. Not great. Not good. Then, he was really good after that. And it was kind of the same thing yesterday. There's a couple he'd like back. I'm sure he'll say, yeah, I'd like to have that throw back.
Let's get to Gordon. Good morning. You're on 97.1.
It was better. There was still too much push up the middle, but I agree with you. I think part of it was I did like the rotation. I like them testing things out with Cologne also and easing Miles Frazier into it. And I thought they were doing a good job of getting those guys help, but I also think Dan did a really nice job of protecting those guys in the way he was calling the offense as well. So, yeah, Gordon, I think you're spot on. They did play better. They were going to have to.
Happy Victory Friday.
Did you hear the little friendly banter in the locker room between Barnes and Alex Anzalone?
No.
Barnes was asked about being tackled by Dak Prescott. And they asked him, who's the best athlete in the linebacker room? And Derek Barnes said, well, it's me. And then from the cheap seats, Anzalone goes, not after that play. Getting tackled by the quarterback.
I will say, Dallas plays a lot of 3 receiver sets, and Detroit was able to play a base defense with 3 linebackers a lot of the game because of how athletic those linebackers are. We know Jack Campbell's athletic. We know Barnes is a freak athlete. He had a big TFL early, got the crowd going, and then the interception early in the second half. And while Alex Anzalone maybe isn't the player he was 2 years ago, he could still cover in space.
Yeah.
Hold his own.
Yeah.
And they can get away with playing bigger dudes and more linebackers because of what those guys can get away with.
And he does a really nice job in between the tackles of being a downhill linebacker.
Yep. What did you think of Frazier Cologne moving forward? What do they do at the left guard spot?
Oh, I think they still, until Mahogany comes back, they still keep the rotation going. And you might find in the course of a game, like a matchup just favors Cologne, and so you go with him. Or a matchup favors Frazier. Or Frazier, your first game generally is going to be the worst one that you play in your career. You're going to get better. And I like the fact that they just didn't throw him out there against Quinnen Williams and say, hey, take 75 snaps. Good luck, big fella.
Right.
And so you're going to find a way to get some improvement out of him. And again, it makes this simply come down to matchups. Does Cologne match up against a defensive tackle better than Miles Frazier or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, I think just from the cheap seats, Frazier offers you a bunch of upside because he's such a young player.
He's a better athlete.
Right.
But there were still some things where, you gave up a pressure because, hey, your punch was initially good, but then you allowed a veteran player to bait you into leaning forward, dipping your head, getting off balance, and then all of a sudden he's a pressure on a quarterback. You look at that film, you see it now, you felt it in the moment. How did I get beat? And now you got a chance to go and correct it.
Well, that's the challenge too. Like, there's no time to babysit anybody. There's 4 games to go, and they simply can't, quote, develop somebody. They're going to have to play who's ever the steadiest of the 2 right now.
Yeah.
You said they could still rotate. That seems odd from where I sit, because isn't continuity a huge part of an offensive line? And
but there's not been continuity up there this year either. So it's.
But if I'm making checks and that guy next to me is somebody different from series to series, is there a chance things get lost in communication?
Graham's going to make the call. You just make sure your ears are open. You listen. You do.
Okay. We'll get your phone calls in. We want to hear from you guys on a Victory Friday, and we want to know, did they win you back? Are you back on board? I know there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of doubt. Are you back on board? It's 97.1